And in the Factor follow-up segment tonight, the Republican presidential candidates are hitting the campaign trail hard this week. And Congresswoman Michelle Bachmann is making this promise if she's elected.
The day that the president became president, gasoline was $1.79 a gallon. Look at what it is today. Under President Bachmann, you will see gasoline come down below $2 a gallon again. That will happen.
And in the meantime, Governor Perry was greeted by an unfriendly audience in New Hampshire.
Ask him why he doesn't believe in science.
Hands up on Medicare! Hands up on Medicare! Hands up on Medicare! We're going behind you.
Joining us now from Washington is Fox News chief political correspondent Carl Cameron, who is monitoring the GOP races. And from Martha's Vineyard, that's a tough assignment, Fox News chief White House correspondent Ed Henry. All right, gentlemen, it's great to see you. Ed, I want to start with you. The optics today being questioned by some, and this always happens when a president takes vacation in difficult times. But obviously, the stock market really took a big nosedive today. The numbers from Gallup are terrible for the president. What's the new news on this visit to Martha's Vineyard? Anyone rethinking it?
Well, no, they're saying he's going to go ahead and stay for the entire 10 days. It definitely is risky politically, but I think we do have to add the context of the fact that, look, I was in Crawford, Texas, when the Pakistani prime minister was tragically assassinated and President Bush had to interrupt a vacation. I was in Honolulu with President Obama when there was an attempted terror attack in Detroit on Christmas Day a couple of years ago. That vacation was interrupted. So my point is that presidents can't get away from the presidency. And so he's still going to be working at least a little here. He's going to have an economic aide here briefing him every day. He's going to have a national security aide, John Brennan, briefing him, making sure he's on top of national security. But certainly the optics are very difficult for this president right now. I think the last thing they wanted was on the day that he lands here for this big Dow dive, because that certainly hurts on the optics. And I think the comparison might be, look, people largely look the other way when George W. Bush vacationed a lot more than this president, by the way, but it was relatively calm economic times. President Bush's father, H.W. Bush, was in awful economic times. He was vacationing in Kennebunkport near here, and he really paid a price in 1992.
Yeah, I just think when this news is what it is, and you're in a place like Martha's Vineyard, it's not like Crawford, Texas. It's, the rich and the famous go there and hobnobbing. Let's move on, Carl, to what happened today in the campaign trail. Bachmann and Perry both. Bachmann promising low gas prices, very low, and Perry getting hit by that mom who was coaching her child to ask questions about the age of the earth and so forth. To Perry, tell us about it.
Well, Perry picked up on it immediately. The young boy asked, "How old is Earth?" And Perry said he didn't know, and then said to the young boy, "I think what your mom wants to know is about evolution." And he went on to say that evolution is a theory, and in Texas they teach creationism. And as the boy and Perry were sort of parting company, you could hear the mom say, "Ask him why he doesn't trust science. Ask him if he believes in science." So typical New Hampshire first in the nation primary voter mischief, mom and son going after the candidate. Perry's had a rough couple of days on the campaign trail up in New Hampshire, sort of mixed reviews from a business group that he met yesterday, and his attempts at retail on the streets of Portsmouth, which is a liberal part of New Hampshire. He got hit by a group, and it was Democratic activists. They were part of an organization that had actually said they were going to go there to demonstrate against him. For Bachmann, we've sort of reached a point where some of her misstatements and idiosyncrasies are so commonplace for her greatest fans that they still go nuts in the rallies for her and are still right there for her. And she was in South Carolina today, really trying to sort of capitalize on the momentum of the big win at the Iowa straw poll. And by capitalize, I mean cash in, put some money in the bank, get the big donors together. She's working on a bundling operation to really rack up some big bucks. And she too has had, whether it's gas prices at $2, which is going to be a hard promise to keep, or some of the accusations that her security's been too rough on reporters and actually kept her away from the peeps on some occasions.
Yeah, well, we've seen those reports of wearing those big neon T-shirts with black letters security on them, but I'm not sure that's that big of a story. I mean, come on, Carl, you can take that.
And it has nothing. And it has nothing to do with their quality to be a president either.
Right, exactly. Let's talk about the surrogates for Obama who are already out there. The president's vacationing, but Arne Duncan, the Secretary of Education, a lot of people think he's kind of a balanced guy, more balanced than maybe some of the other cabinet secretaries. He gave an interview. It's going to air tomorrow. We have a clip from it. He talked about Texas and Texas education. Let's listen.
you've had no harsher critic than Governor Rick Perry of Texas. How does Texas stack up over the last 10 years in education?
Well, Texas has really struggled, and I feel very, very badly for the children there. Texas may have the highest high school dropout rate, the lowest high school graduation rate in the country. Far too few of their high school graduates are actually prepared to go on to college.
Now, Ed, Obama might not be talking a lot about Perry. He said, well, he just hit the campaign trail. I'm going to be easy on him. But the surrogates are out there.
They are. It's interesting. I mean, obviously, I think in fairness, he was responding to a question, and I think this is an energetic education secretary who's been working pretty hard. I've interviewed him before, and he is all over this issue. But you're right in the sense that, you know, he could have maybe not hit back quite as hard and not engaged, but he decided to do that. And I think it's clear. It's amusing because I've heard so many people in the Obama world saying, we're not engaging with any of these guys. We're not going to get into it. I think later in that interview, Secretary Duncan was saying, I just feel bad for these kids. It's these kids in Texas. It's not about the governor. I think he's a sincere guy, but at the same time, I think there were some crocodile tears there, because if they can dump on Rick Perry, they will. Yeah,
I feel very, 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 very badly for the kids of Texas. Well, gentlemen, we appreciate it. Thanks a lot.